In this report, we cover Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. In summary, this is a leadership book. And what Sinek says is that prioritizing the needs of subordinates above your own has the effect of making you a better leader and ultimately improving the performance of individuals, teams, organizations entirely. Now, the reason behind this is because when you consistently prioritize the needs of others above your own, it creates what the author calls a circle of safety. That is, there are empathetic connections between you, the leader, and the individual receiving your attention. And thus, they feel safe in the environment and that you are invested in their best interest and their success. And this ultimately has the effect of improving the organization because you're improving individual output and you're fostering collaboration, which ultimately has the effect of greater output, and it encourages innovation, which is an important factor of output in any organization. So what the ultimate effect here is of this circle of safety, if you will, is that the individual members of teams don't feel competition among each other for your favor or for the resources of the organization. It creates this more team-based mentality or collectiveness in terms of goals and objectives. And it also fosters innovation in terms that people aren't scared to take risks because of the repercussions there. It actually encourages the risks necessary for innovations, trying new things to see if they work, because they don't fear that the failure is going to somehow hurt them or their career path. So the author gets into the idea of chemical balances in the brain are ultimately the cause of these positive effects when you take this empathetic, caring approach. And he focuses primarily on the effects on the body of oxytocin. And oxytocin is produced by the brain, but it generally creates a feeling of trust or empathy or happiness in the individual producing it. Now, Sinek proposes that the production of oxytocin happens not just in the individual receiving your attention or goodwill, it also triggers oxytocin production in you as well as the leader, because there's this mutual sense of connection there. Now, he does note that oxytocin is a slow release chemical. So as a leader, you have to do this consistently over time. So it requires patience and continued pursuit of that ideal of putting others first. Now, there are numerous threats that the author identifies that says, if you ultimately neglect the well-being of your employees or subordinates, then the opposite effect takes hold, that you start to encourage competition, and it creates a threat response in them, particularly the production of cortisol, which cortisol specifically reduces the presence of oxytocin. Cortisol is the fight or flight response that happens within us that ultimately we perceive our environment as a threat, and the production of this chemical puts us in that mode, and it ultimately shuts down collaboration. It shuts down innovation because you're not willing to take the risks there. So ultimately it hurts the organization as well as the individual. So Sinek concludes the book by giving advice on how to be an effective leader and how to put others' needs and form these empathetic connections. He says, one, focus on the long-term goals of the organization, that this is going to give that results. Also, collaborate through common adversity with others. Now, this common adversity is rallying everyone around the objectives and mission of the organization. Now, the organization can't have the ability immediately to achieve these objectives. Otherwise, those objectives don't resonate with the other. And the individual has to understand or feel that they have an impact in that they are ultimately share this common goal that you're working for. And then address abstraction. That is, have one-on-one meetings with your stakeholders. These are the people you sell to, your sales team, anyone with whom the organization interacts, because understanding that people are important, that you're not just selling to a crowd, you're selling to individuals, helps once again trigger this cortisol effect, and you have more sense of ownership, belonging, import in what you do. So in summary, the brain produces oxytocin based upon how you are treated. This empathetic, caring environment where you put the needs of the employee or subordinate above your own is going to trigger this chemical reaction, and it has a positive reaction all around. So this concludes our coverage of Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek. Hello, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the content, and please pardon the interruption. I just want to take a moment to remind you that this is just a small sample of the various resources we have in our academy at thebusinessprofessor.com. We have long-form book summaries, business courses, business and legal templates, a career TV channel, an AI-powered business encyclopedia, recent headlines, and lots of other benefits to explore as well. So please, I hope to see you as a member of the community sometime in the future.